Okay, in this short video we're going to have a little bit of a look at a couple of questions on download speed. So the good news for download speed is that we use exactly the same formulas that we use for distance, speed and time questions, except that in these questions the D stands for data rather than distance. And all of these formulas appear on the HSC formula sheet, so there's no need to remember them. Although I think at this stage you should be able to understand them and know where they come from, and really see that it's not really three formulas, it's just one formula where the subject's been rearranged. So let's have a look at a couple of questions. So on the first question we have, it takes 50 minutes and 25 seconds to download a video file of 318 megabytes. Calculate the data speed correct to the nearest kilobit per second. Now, most of the time data speed is measured in kilobits per second, but there's no reason why we couldn't also measure it in kilobytes per second or kilobytes per minute or whatever a question might ask us. It's just that the most common way of measuring download speed is in kilobits per second. So the first thing you do in these questions is have a look at the download speed that we need to calculate, and we'll notice that the units of measurement are in kilobits and that the units of time are in seconds. So the first thing is, well, the data in the question, we need to convert that to kilobits, and of course the time needs to be in seconds. So first of all, let's have a look at the 318 megabytes. So we're going to convert that to kilobits. Okay, so we should be pretty good at this now because we've already done a few examples of this. So first of all, what we need to do is convert it to bytes. So we're going to have to multiply it by 1024 twice. So we'll do that. 318 times 1024 times 1024 again. Now we're in bytes, and then of course we need to jump across to bits, so we just multiply it by 8. And then once we're in bits we need to be in kilobits. So to get kilobits we're going down the table, so we need to divide it by 1000. And that gives us a grand total of 667,577.344 kilobits. Okay, and now we have to look at the time. Now our time's in 50 minutes and 25 seconds, so all we really need to do is convert that minutes into seconds and then add on that other 25 seconds at the end, and that gives us 3025 seconds. Okay, once we've done that, we know that we need to find the download speed. So to get the download speed, it's just the amount of data divided by the time. So we've already got all of that. So we'll write down the amount of data. Get some big numbers in these questions. 0.344, and then we'll just divide it by the time, and that gives us the download speed as 880.843, and some more digits after that, but since we're going to download it to the nearest kilobit per second, well, that's an 8, so we'll just round it up to 882 kilobits per second. Not too hard at all, is it? Okay, let's have a look at one more. Find, correct to the nearest second, the time taken to download a 4.5 megabyte song at a speed of 1000 kilobits per second. Okay, so again, the speed is kilobits per second, but the song here is in megabytes. So the first thing we should do is convert our megabytes into kilobits. So again, we've got 4.5 megabytes, and we're going to convert that first of all. So that's 4.5. So to get from megabytes to bytes, we're going to multiply by 1024 twice again. And once we're in bytes, we move over to bits, so we just multiply it by 8. And once we're in bits, we've got to go down the table to kilobits. So whenever we go down the table, we've got to divide it by 1,000, and that tells us that our file size here is 37,748.736 kilobits. We write it with a small b. That's really important. Okay, then we need to work out the time that it takes, to download this file. So time is always just the amount of data divided by the speed. So our data was 37,748.736 kilobits, and then we divide it, sorry for the wonky line, by the speed, which is 1,000 kilobits per second, and that tells us that the file is going to take 37.748, and there's a bit more after that, seconds. But because we're going to round it to the nearest second, we know that that is roughly 38 seconds. And there you have it. Now it's time for you to practice.